high. I start thinking.
Hall of Famer Tito Santana, hoping to give.
Hello, hey guys, just 10 here with your 5 wrestling. What's your opinion? And
something like that than I have ever felt. It's Till 5 Wrestling. We're back here live on, well, not live. Live in the Sunray studio.
That's right.
On Facebook, though. It's Wednesday. You're going to get to hear us. You're going to get to see our beautiful faces. I'm the Notorious ATB.
I'm just incredible.
And we've got 5 great segments for you.
Yeah.
After last week, I know Tanner enjoyed talking about the Royal Rumble so much. I felt like we kind of had to do a Royal Rumble
more
review.
time.
That's right. One more time, a Royal Rumble review.
Lovely.
So, first off, I, like most of the crowd last night or on Raw, really was not happy to see Charlotte Flair win the Women's Royal Rumble.
No, and a lot of people are giving it flack now, like, oh, I can't believe everybody's being hard on Charlotte Flair. And I'm like, dude, come on. We
I've
were
not
hard
liked her
on
for
Cena
years.
too. It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
No, it's not the same.
No,
thing
it's
for
not,
Charlotte.
maybe. But
yeah, Charlotte Flair has been shoved down our throats worse than Roman Reigns was.
Oh God, and you know, I think that we all forget sometimes because of what happened with the Eulafala and the Tribal Chief that Roman once was the worst channel changer wrestler ever. I hated Roman.
And Charlotte
so
has taken that title.
bad. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
So she won. We're teasing her and Rhea. I would be fine with that.
Pretty good match. Had some good surprises. You know, Jordan Grace, which I don't think was really a surprise. The biggest surprise, I guess, to me was Nikki Bella, which was very underwhelming. Or Trish.
I think Trish was probably the biggest surprise.
I kind of thought Trish was done. I thought that last run was good. I thought that was a nice.
Yeah, I didn't see the point in this.
Yeah.
It was just a filler. I really wanted to see Maria Kanellis show up.
I was hoping that would happen.
That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been cool. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe. And then we went into the tag team title,
which
2 out of 3
we've
falls
discussed
match.
8 times already on various shows. That it was very underwhelming.
The match itself was underwhelming. I loved the ending.
The ending was good. Street Profits come back. And, and that was good. I like the Street Profits.
We have the world title, WWE title, ladder match.
Fun.
That was a blast.
Very fun.
It was like seeing Kevin Steen against Cody Rhodes.
And I think that now that Triple H has taken the mantle and we're on Netflix and we've moved, we're not saying it, but we've definitely moved into a more adult friendly product. I think we are going to see more Kevin Steen. And I think we're going to see some Generico too.
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about Raw while we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're teasing Charlotte and Rhea.
Right.
I actually think I might prefer that match over her and Tiffany.
Well, see, I'm hoping that if we do get the Tiffany match, and this is just hoping, that it's going to be her putting Tiff over.
I think Charlotte's going to win the world title.
Ugh.
Charlotte's going to end up breaking her dad's record too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's her record for the women's division.
Yeah.
You know, but.
And then with the WWE title, you had Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn last night after Zayn lost. I wanted him to cost Zayn the match, actually.
Yeah, I wanted that to be a little different the way but I guess what really matters to me is that I don't really care how we get there, as long as we get Steen versus Owens going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're getting that match. It's just the ride's taking a different route than I had expected.
Whenever you put Steen and Owens or Owens and Sammy into a match together or tag team or opponents.
Yeah.
It's going to
sit back and enjoy the match.
Yeah.
And then in the Royal Rumble itself, the men's Royal Rumble match, we had John Cena put on a good showing, and I was shocked to see him lose.
You know who did the showing of the night?
Penta.
We love Penta.
Damn straight we do.
And Norm loves Penta.
Yes, Norm, who won our Royal Rumble game
that
I did unannounced. What?
I said I effed up the name. Don't worry about it.
All right.
See, I didn't say the F word, guys. We're getting better in the show.
Yeah, that's why Benny's not here tonight.
Season 2.
The
F-bomb.
Yeah. So we did a Royal Rumble game. The winner of it got their choice of an autograph between Akira Tozawa, Matt Riddle, and Penta.
I really think it's really hilarious that it was Penta and then 2 jabronis. So it's like it didn't.
Well,
really...
hey, Tozawa made an appearance in the Rumble. Riddle's been in the news lately. So
yeah, he sure has.
It was it was something I wanted to do for our new followers. We've blown up quite a bit in the last little
thank
bit.
You guys once again. Thank you.
Look for more stuff like that in the future from us. I'm plotting for Elimination Chamber already. I just haven't let Tan in on it yet.
That's how the whole show works.
Well, you're welcome to start plotting some stuff anytime you want to contribute.
Oh, you just change it up.
No,
all right.
Actually, I'll let you. That's why we've got this garbage Japanese stuff tonight.
You're gonna love it,
and you're gonna love the whoop whoopometer.
I don't think I will, but you're gonna love Kenta Kobashi. But you know what?
Now the men's Royal Rumble, Jey Uso won. Jey deserved it. I think Jey deserved it because he's worked his butt off for the last year.
Part of me,
he really had.
I'm really torn on this. So part of me says this is cool. Somebody unexpected and different wins, unless you heard me on Sharpshooters. Somebody unexpected wins the Royal Rumble, and it's like, whoa, we thought it was going to be Cena or Roman or one of the usual suspects. So that was cool, but at the same time, I'm like, this is so underwhelming.
This was a year for a usual suspect.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have made a lot more
for the first time ever. It made sense for WWE to book the top star to win the damn thing.
Yeah, but Jey wins. Now my question is, does Jey go for Gunther or does Jey go for Cody?
I think we're definitely gonna. In fact, I think Jay's gonna beat Gunther at WrestleMania.
I think he'll win.
That'll finish that story.
Yeah, and then he can go. Roman can go into a feud with him, and maybe Roman will pass over the tribal chief. That would be an
interesting new heel arc for Roman to be pissed off at Jey Uso because he got a world title.
And maybe SummerSlam we get this tribal chief match, and Jey Uso becomes the new tribal chief.
I'm totally okay with that.
That would be fun.
Fine with me.
Yeah, and what else? Penta put on a heck of a show. He was the Iron Man of this Rumble.
What a pickup, man.
Yeah,
this guy has worked out.
Turns around and puts on another really solid match on Raw against Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah,
I was waiting for that one. I was excited for that. I like Ludwig Kaiser.
My wife hates him.
Then he's doing his job.
Yeah, she's like, he just creeps me out.
Then he's doing his job. I like how he contorts his freaking, like he's really weird. I like that. He's very unique. Yeah, it's kind of like a chicken, like a game in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker destroying ISO. Was it ISO Speed? Is that the kid?
Yeah.
That was probably my highlight of the men's.
I didn't even know who that was. I had to do some research after the show.
He's a YouTuber.
But I hope he's okay.
So
because Braun Breaker killed him.
Who was your favorite person or least favorite person of the Rumble? Like who?
Men and women or just
men?
My least favorite? I mean, I guess it had to be the waste of a spot, I Show Speed. But while we're on the topic of wasted spots, I felt that when you've got a Royal Rumble that's as star-studded as this one was, and I don't remember what number it was, but number 17 comes out and it's Akira Tozawa or it's Otis. I'm like, dude, come on. You're wasting these spots. Why wouldn't you have put someone with a little bit more? Make it up the ante more than it already is.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason. Well, first off, I really enjoyed that we had so many of the cruiserweights there at the opening. That was a blast.
I loved Penta and Ray coming out. Santos Escobar, if I'm not mistaken, comes out third.
Yeah.
And they put on a real show. We're forgetting to mention Joe Hendry. I know your favorite wrestler ever. But got a big pop.
Say his name, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I would have rather had Nick Nemeth come out.
Absolutely.
Do a little show and have a good, because that was one of his things.
And let it be Nick Nemeth, not Dolph.
Not Dolph.
Yeah.
I would have much rather had Nemeth than Joe Hendry.
Absolutely.
But Joe Hendry did just win the TNA championship.
All in all, out of 5, what do you give the Royal Rumble?
3.5. Fair.
I'll give it a 4. My least favorite person was Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Not only did I accidentally pick his number for our game, but he eliminated my favorite wrestler, CM Punk. So yeah, Logan Paul's a dirtbag.
I think I got Drew.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I got somebody. It didn't matter because I didn't win, but Norm did.
Yeah, if we had won, we would have just pocketed the money ourselves. The autograph.
That's what we do, and that's one.
Now, if you're in the need for some home equipment, we really recommend you go hit up our friends at Stover's Liquidation, where you can get liquidation and wholesale home improvement items with truckload quantities available. They're open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., 24 hours online. They're closed on Sundays. You can find their Oak Ridge store at.
Their Oak Ridge store is on 481 Tulsa Road, and you can call them at 865-523-4449. Or if you're closer to Cookeville, Tennessee, you can catch them at 452 West Broad Street, or you can give them a call at 931-526-2591. And that's Stouffer's. So,
And next, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go back to our roots a little bit with a Ring of Violence. A little bit of Jimmy Jacobs here, the zombie princess himself.
season 1 special here. Back to the Ring of Violence.
Yes. Well, I don't want to toss him in with till 225.
No.
And
he doesn't fit that much.
No, I don't feel like he's the star for a till 5 flashback. And he doesn't really work the indies nowadays, but he sure was a violent little bastard.
And before we start with that, I would also like to say that, guys, if you want to see more segments about people like Jimmy Jacobs for Ring of Violence, people that really don't get talked about, let us know in the comments, and we'll keep dishing them out every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Let us know what you want to see.
So Jimmy Jacobs really started climbing the independent scene working in IWA Mid-South.
Yeah.
Lots of really good matches with Delirious, and he would actually kind of use that to get the attention of Gabe Sapolsky.
Right.
And Gabe would give him a tryout in Ring of Honor. And he was this little, like, he wore furry boots and would huss like the Berserker back in the day, which was entertaining. But where are you going to go with this, dude? You're like 5'6".
See, that was the problem with Jacobs. He was very short. He was very small. And he wasn't the best. He was a fine wrestler, but he wasn't the best wrestler. But damn, he could tell a story. You know, and I think that's what really got him his job.
Yeah.
With Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and that's the Ballad of Lacey is what he wrote that on his own accord to try and get himself some regular bookings, and it worked.
Yep.
And that led into the BJ Whitmer feud and the tag team. Look, if you don't know a lot about Jimmy Jacobs, you need to be checking out his Ring of Honor matches with BJ Whitmer.
Yep.
And any of them, you will see a horrible ankle break with this amazing power bomb that Whitmer was trying to do onto the turnbuckle from outside. Yeah, it is just every match those two guys had was
Whitmer
violent.
Was crazy too.
You would see Jacobs pull out a 9-inch nail at points to try and drive it through his face. Their IWA Mid-South matches are considered the bloodiest ones, though, apparently.
Right. Yeah, they are.
So,
they're very gory. I've seen a few of those. They're very gory.
Yeah, and Lacey managed the two of them as a team for a while. Eventually that split, and Jacobs kind of disappeared for a little bit. And Jacobs started, there was these videos coming up. I think it was Project 161. They were like stalking Gabe Sapolsky, the booker of ROH. And then at ROH's Man Up show in Chicago Ridge, Illinois, these people in black ski masks after the main event, a tag team ladder match that you will never hear me say a bad thing about. Nope. Kevin Steen and El Generico against the Briscoes. It was a bloodbath.
Watch it. Seek it out.
You have Jacobs and all these people in black ski masks and the Necro Butcher and Tyler Black and Lacey come in and they just bum rush the ring. The wrestlers run in. The people in ski masks and black stay at ringside.
The extras just stay at ringside.
The extras stay at ringside. The sound is the scream from Halloween.
Yeah.
From Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is creepy and terrifying to begin with. They beat up the Briscoes, string Jay Briscoe from the ceiling, and Jacobs gets under him while in a white outfit and cuts a promo about it being the fall of ROH.
Yep.
And it is just, it's an amazing promo. You see him with Tyler Black, now known as Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's crazy to look back on that and see Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black, because it was a lot different. He was a very violent little bastard too in his own right there in his Ring of Honor days.
And very green at the time still. Like that was a lot of fun.
Dodge a little.
Yeah. Spoiler, we were our MySpace friends back in the day.
You and Tyler Black?
Colby Lopez.
How's that going for you now?
It did not work out for me.
You see us still in the Teal 5 studio. So Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, if you see this,
now
hit us up.
Necro Butcher was also a MySpace friend back in the day.
Necro Butcher is an interesting guy to have on social
and
media.
now Dylan Summers is still a Facebook friend.
He's an interesting guy to have on social media.
Not that we really hang out. I don't expect him to ever see this. But hey, if he does and decides he wants to come on Till 5, Tanner can talk about death matches with him.
We can talk about something.
I doubt that.
We can talk about something.
So from there, the Age of the Fall kind of fell apart when Gabe left. Big Rig Brody Lee ends up joining the group.
Yeah.
Delirious joins the group. It's just kind of a mess.
It becomes a random bag of people they didn't know what to do with.
Now, were you watching to see Scum?
No, actually, I missed Scum. Now I've gone back and watched it since.
Okay,
but yeah, good stuff.
You've got Jimmy Jacobs, Steve Corino, Kevin Steen.
Matt Hardy was in Scum.
Cliff Compton.
Was Matt Hardy in Scum
for
a minute? Yeah, that's what I thought.
These group of just real dirtbags.
Yeah, just
trying to take over Ring of Honor. And again, you see Whitmer against Jacobs because Whitmer's defending ROH. So they were lifelong rivals. And then for my credit or for my money, anytime you see Jacobs against Aries, you see Jacobs against Alex Shelley, those are matches worth checking out and watching.
I love his matches with Aries.
Most of Jacobs, he went to TNA for a little bit, an Impact rather.
Well, he went, but I don't think he actually wrestled. He
did once at least.
Did he wrestle once?
Yeah.
Well, regardless,
sure he at least had the zombie princess gimmick show up.
He was managing Congo Kong as the zombie princess.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, he was managing Congo Kong during like the dark days of Impact, like the real 2014. Like now Hogan's gone and he's left this giant crater of shit and no money. So they had Jacobs managing Congo Kong in a storyline that ended up not really going anywhere, and then he transitioned into a producer role there in Impact. He kind of did that for a while. He eventually became a producer for WWE.
And then hung out.
Or a writer for WWE.
And then hung out with his friends from Bullet Club in the parking lot.
All day, baby. That was the fun era of Bullet Club.
Yeah. And then he got fired.
Yeah. So he goes back to TNA for a while.
Yeah, he went back to TNA. And then when AEW was up and running and they had an opening for somebody and his TNA time was up,
brought him along.
He went to AEW. He worked there for a year.
Which apparently did not pan out.
What, 2 and a half, 2 years?
Year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Apparently just did not pan out.
Yeah, he ended up working with ROH and now he's back on the indies.
Yep.
You know, I was a fan of Jimmy Jacobs.
Yep.
I think that anybody should go back and
I think he'll probably end up writing and producing for TNA again.
Probably.
WWE. He's a good writer.
Yeah. I think that anybody should go back and see his Austin Aries I Quit match.
Absolutely.
I think they should see the 8-man steel cage match with Scum against Jay Lethal, BJ Whitmer,
Steen, and Elgin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Go back and see that match. And
Click Compton Rhino was in Scum and Rhett Titus.
Yeah, everybody was in Scum.
Eventually,
yeah. It was so weird, but it was fun. Like Jacobs was cool. Jacobs is a creative genius.
Yeah.
And hopefully he ends up carrying on his career elsewhere.
Yep, he's good, too damn good to be doing nothing, and that is too. So now, let's get in to what we've all been waiting for.
All right, Tanner, sell me on Kenta Kobashi with the 10 on Japan.
Kenta Kobashi, the man, the myth, the legend. So Kenta Kobashi debuts in All Japan in 1987. Okay, and he becomes the star rookie. All right, he's like the top jobber there. They start to gain trust with him. So as we enter the 90s, in early 90s, 93, All Japan's on the rise. You know, Stan Hansen's there, Vader's there, Miracle Violence Connection's there.
Whoop whoop.
And they have
that gets a whoop whoop. Miracle Violence Connection
gets a whoop whoop. All right. Did you do the whoop whoop-o-meter thing? Oh,
that's our whoop whoop.
That's classy.
Yeah.
So he becomes one of the 4 pillars of All Japan Pro Wrestling with Misawa Kawada and Akira Taiyu, and starts.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'm good. and he starts having just freaking excellent matches with everybody. He's putting on shows. Check out his stuff with Stan Hansen. Check out his stuff with Vader. Check out his stuff with Steve Williams in solo matches. They're very good. And so he does this. He becomes a big main eventer. Okay, starts having this basically almost never-ending rivalry with Misawa. Okay, so they're just constantly back and forth, but it's a respect thing, and it became Kobashi's not good enough to beat Misawa. He never could beat Misawa. He finally does beat Misawa eventually and wins his Triple Crown Championship in All Japan. Having 5-star matches everywhere. You can find that on Cage Match all day long. You can see all of his great matches. So then he keeps, having these great matches, like I said. Gets to the 2000s. He works with Ring of Honor for a minute. Has the great match that we've talked about a lot. Yes. My favorite match of all time versus Samoa Joe in 2005. And then in 2006, Kobashi was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And this is what makes Kobashi special. This is that fighting spirit that they talk about in Japan. They said he would never wrestle again. They said he probably wouldn't even live. Like it was bad. And 18 months later, Kenta Kobashi returned unannounced to a show and got one of the biggest pops in Japanese wrestling history. And just had some
Kenta chopped cancer.
Kenta chopped cancer. Cut it down like a tree. He retired in 2013, but he's got a great list of accolades that I wrote down to share with you guys. He is a 3-time All Japan Wrestling Triple Crown World Heavyweight Champion. He is a 6-time All Japan Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion, twice with Misawa, twice with Jun Akiyama, and twice with Johnny Ace. A little fun fact for you. And he's the Pro Wrestling Noah. He's a 1-time heavyweight champ, a 1-time openweight champ, and a 2-time tag champ with Tame and Honda. This guy's great, man. And his best matches, specifically, I told you about his feud with Misawa, but specifically their match from 1995 is Kenta Kobashi's first time ever challenging for the Triple Crown Championship. You can't beat it. They never did anything any better than that. It was fantastic. He's got a match with Vader in 2000. He's got a match with Dr. Death in 93. He's got a match with Stan Hansen in 93. He's got a match with Jun Akiyama in 2004. He's got another great match, almost as good as the 95 match against Misawa in 2003 in Pro Wrestling Noah. And then, of course, we've talked about the Samoa Joe match at length. But, guys, what Kenta Kobashi was able to do in the ring, you're still seeing sprinkles of it all over the industry today. He's a great wrestler, and he's widely considered one of the all-time greats. To Japanese fans, they would probably say either Kenta Kobashi or Great Muta is one of the greats of all times, guys. And that's Kenta Kobashi.
Well, I tell you what,
Kenta Kobashi.
Since you make a good argument, there's some matches there that interest me.
They're good. I'll send them to you.
Let me get 4 out of 5 whoop whoops.
4 out of 5 whoop whoops.
There you go, sir. And that's 3. So, if you're interested in something other than a whoop whoop and need some home improvement, quality liquidation products, some wholesale home improvement, truckload quantities are available. Sorry, folks, we're kind of all over the place tonight with our ads. It happens. But Stover's Liquidation. What are you looking at me for, Dave?
Do the ad.
All right. Stover's Liquidation, located at 481 Tulsa Road, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. You can contact them at
865-523-4449, or you can contact the Cookeville location at 931-526-2591.
The Cookeville location is located at 452 West Broad Street in Cookeville, Tennessee. They are open 24 hours a day online at www.stofersliquidation.com
and tell them Till 5 sent you.
All right, folks. Now, we had Tan on Japan. It's time to get notoriously legendary with the total package Lex Luger.
He's totally buff.
He was at one point.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there, maybe.
So, Lex Luger, in 1985, decided to walk into championship wrestling from Florida, where he met Hiro Matsuda, who had helped train Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
He decides to help train Luger because at that point, Luger really hadn't managed to accomplish much in his life as a football star. He had played in the Canadian Football League and played in Tampa Bay alongside Ron Simmons.
You know, and if you've heard much about Hiro Matsuda's training styles from the other guys' talk, his training method was basically just to beat the absolute hell out of you until you figured out how to defend yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, it worked, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah. So Lex would end up in 1987 getting his first push.
Yeah.
A push, as they say on What Culture.
That's right. Push.
He would come in and he was booked as an associate to the Four Horsemen until Ole Anderson was kicked out, and then Lex got made a part of the group. And Lex would join the Horsemen and not stay in it for long, really.
He did.
He was in it for little under 6 months. Yeah, little under.
There's a few in and out there in the horse. That's why we didn't cover Lex on the Horseman segment. Yeah. We're doing it here.
Yeah, because Lex is a Horseman, but he's also got a lot more career outside of the Horseman.
Right.
Yeah. So Lex would he would end up winning the United States title with the Horsemen and end up befriended Barry Windham, a Florida ally, where they would become a tag team for a little bit. And they would defeat Tully and Arn for the tag team titles, ironically. And a few weeks after that, though, Windham turned on him and replaced Luger and the Horsemen.
There you go.
Yeah. So
and that's what happened.
Yeah, this would be a common theme. You would see Lex getting his revenge on Windham. Lex would win the U.S. title from him.
They had some great matches together.
Yeah, they did.
Windham and Lex.
They had a lot of fun matches. There's my notes. Good grief.
Good grief.
Anyways.
Good grief.
So thanks, Dave. So Lex would go on and work with Nikita Koloff quite a bit in Jim Crockett Promotions and in WCW, and they actually will do speaking engagements together now, Christian speaking engagements.
They do.
Yes.
Sometimes with Lodi.
Yeah. And sometimes with Ted DiBiase.
That's right.
They used to do them with Animal. They like to travel and spread the good word as it is. But he developed the torture rack within his first 3 years.
That's a sweet move
of wrestling.
I've always really liked
it was always a really
but
great
it only
finisher.
really ever looked good to me when Lex did it.
Because Lex had that bounce.
Yeah.
Like that was always what made it look so
No one
good.
else has ever been able to get that move over like Lex.
Yeah, Lex would 3 years he's got a great finisher.
Yep.
United States title. He drops the US title.
Great look.
To Dusty. Great look.
Not good on the stick, but he didn't really have to be.
He has this split with the Horsemen, but then he starts becoming a face alongside Sting.
Yep.
Against the Horsemen.
What a great pairing.
Yeah, he would defeat Windham and in a steel cage, of course, because that's what Lex likes to do.
He does.
Yeah. So Lex would have a couple more runs with the United States title and become a top star in WCW. But then in 1992, he would decide he wanted more money because WCW had put the world title on him, pushed him. His first real feud after winning that was Ron Simmons.
Some other good matches came from Lex and Ron.
Lex, they were always fun together. I always like those two guys. I think because they played together.
I really think because of Ron's character, he's criminally underrated.
Yeah, that's why, like, if you go back and just look at his WCW run, it is amazing.
He's fantastic
because you go from Doom. We need to cover Simmons.
We need to cover Simmons.
We're gonna have to.
We love Ron Simmons.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a Ron Simmons. But he would end up when Flair goes to WWF. Lex would be a last minute replacement to take on Barry Windham in a steel cage for the world title. Here we go again. He would win it. He would defend it against Ron Simmons. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. 92, he was the world champion. Right. 93 is when he left. He would drop the belt to go to the World Bodybuilding Federation, which he would never actually get to compete in because he got in a motorcycle wreck.
That's right.
And when he got healed, it was closed. So
that's how long that lasted.
He ends up coming into the WWF. he becomes the narcissist at first.
At first, he's the narcissist.
With Bobby Heenan as his manager.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Right.
it would have worked, I think.
If they had kept running with the narcissist, I think it would have worked.
But then Hulk Hogan decides to leave, and they're like, we need a new face.
So they buy Lex a bus.
They're like, we're going to give you a bus.
The Lex Express.
You're going to travel the United States. You're going to meet fans and smile and become our new Mr. America good guy to replace Hulk Hogan. And Lex said, crap, I have to meet all these fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lex back then was not real enthused about that kind of stuff.
No. Different guy these days.
So Lex took the Lex Express. He body slams Yokozuna. Everybody's loving him.
Well, he loses via DQ at SummerSlam to win the world title. But he wins, but he doesn't win the championship, and they still come out and lift him up on their shoulders as an American hero. I still believe it's a travesty to this day that they didn't let Lex have it there, man. That was so bullshit to see them lifting Lex over their heads, and Lex didn't even have the title.
Well, welcome to the WWF.
The carny world of the WWF.
They were afraid to make him the guy.
I understand.
Which is fair. They ended up making the right guy the guy. WrestleMania the next year with Bret Hart.
They did.
You didn't need an American hero. You needed
a Canadian hero.
There you go.
A Canadian hero. Just like the greatest band of all time, Rush.
That's not the Who.
Canadian heroes. The Who sucks ass. This is Rush.
Look, you can hate.
This is Rush.
Whoop whoop.
Rush rules. There ain't no whoop whoops here.
I hate you.
What the hell are you talking about? Chicks dig Rush, man.
Actually, it says chicks love Rush.
They dig Rush and they love Rush.
You can't.
Chicks love Rush.
It's because you're dyslexic.
I'm a little dyslexic.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
Yeah, you're handy capable. Get over it.
And there's the whoop whoop. A little late. All right. So Lex gets a bus.
Yeah, Lex gets a bus. He continues to work in the WWF for a while. Ends up his contract expires.
Yep.
And he opts to go back to WCW without really letting the WWF know. And so Lex goes back to WCW, shows up at the Mall of America.
In a weird shirt, but a very cool moment.
Yeah, Bischoff gave him a dirt cheap contract.
Yeah.
And Lex loved it. He was back in WCW.
A lot of his buddies were there.
Yeah. So Lex stays. He ends up becoming a face for, well, first off, he comes in and he's trying to convince everybody he's a good guy. And then he ends up joining the Dungeon of Doom and trying to kill Hulkamania. Because he's a good guy like that.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Which,
looking back on it, Lex is the face for that.
Yeah.
Just so everybody is clear.
The great thing is, 2 years later, Lex would be the good guy against the NWO. Yeah. He would be the first person to beat Hollywood Hogan to take the NWO title off of him in almost a year.
Yep.
Of course, he dropped it 6 days later, but the point remains, we took that NWO title away from the NWO.
Yep. Because of Lex Luger.
Yes. Lex saved the day.
Yep. And Sting.
Yeah. Well, now Lex was the one that defeated him.
But Lex won the match.
Yes.
All shenanigans aside, the record book states Lex Luger
defeated Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Lex did it.
Yeah. So Lex ends up dropping the belt back to him. Never really gets back into the main event scene.
No, sort of just.
Yeah, he's an upper mid-card guy for a while.
Slows down for a little bit. Starts taking guys like Stasiak under his wing. He does Wolfpack for a minute.
Yeah, Wolfpack was a lot to see him and Sting out there hanging out.
And Conan and Disco for a minute was in it.
He joins up with Buff Bagwell. They become totally buff.
Yep.
They decide to end the career of Tanner's favorite wrestler, Bill Goldberg.
At that time.
Yeah.
Not forever, I wish. Lex would be in studio with us if he took that guy out of wrestling. He'd be on the wall behind me. Instead, he's over there.
Yeah. So, after that, when WCW closed, Lex pops up in TNA a few times.
He does a couple matches.
Yeah.
I think he comes in as a heel with teaming with Jeff Jarrett once.
Yeah, and then he comes in, I think he came in as a face once, too, with Sting. Against Jarrett.
I think he had a match with Styles, I know.
Yeah.
He was working a heel in that match.
Yeah, that was Jarrett and Luger against Styles.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was
basically it.
Yeah, you would see him pop up NWA cyberspace. He couldn't tear the t-shirt. I always love that clip. He was like, I don't know. But yeah, Lex Luger is a notoriously legendary wrestler. I think that a lot of fans should go back and look back at his Ron Simmons match from Halloween Havoc.
Yep.
Go back and look at his Hollywood Hogan match from the summer of 1998,
Okay.
I believe. 97 or 98. It's been a few years. And then go back and look.
Any of his matches with Wyndham.
Yeah,
any of those.
Any of them, especially
The cage match for the world title was good.
Steel Cage
Yeah.
in 92.
92, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
Go back and watch those matches from Lex Luger.
Good stuff.
That's 4, folks. And we're going to keep it really simple here to end the night with a nice, peaceful Wrestling Faces from Ohio.
We should have just sang a version of We Didn't Start the Fire with as many peoples on this list.
Yeah. So we were going to do 5 faces. We can't leave it at 5. It's Ohio.
Yeah.
They've got so many talented wrestlers. So first off, I've got to give credit to Jon Moxley.
Yeah, you have to.
He's the current AEW World Champion.
Well, another super relevant name on the list is Alexa Bliss, who just returned at the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yes, yeah. I was happy to see her back.
Yeah. Also relevant right now. The Rascals, also always relevant. TNA guys, if you're a TNA fan.
Yeah, that's Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz.
Well, also Wesley from NXT, former Rascal, Desmond Xavier. He's also from that area.
Yeah,
Sammy Callahan.
Yeah. Abyss,
Yep.
Who loves Alex Eldridge.
WWE Tag Team Champion Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun taking over the Eldridge and Blackburn Nostalgia show last night.
We should do that.
Maybe
more.
we should show that to our fans next week.
We should. I think we will.
Yeah, we'll pull that off next week.
I think
for
we
our
will.
fans.
Hey, Macho Man Randy Savage is from Ohio.
He is Wardlow.
Did any of these guys play for the Reds or just Randy Savage?
He didn't play for the Reds. He played for the minor league team.
But he was
No,
closer than the rest of them. I don't see Wardlow.
You know who else is from Ohio?
Who?
Al Snow, part owner of Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yes, Nick Nemeth. Brian Pillman.
Maybe we could get an interview with Al sometime. That would be fun.
Maybe we should. One of my favorites, Perry Saturn.
I would love to get an interview with him if I knew that he would show up. But Perry kind of goes on and off the
Perry
grid.
sometimes disappears for a while.
Yeah. Actually, a guy who has became
love you, Perry.
Became one of my favorite wrestlers. The Miz.
Yeah, I love the Miz.
Miz deserves way more credit than he gets.
Excellent stuff. Well, I mean, there's a lot of great wrestlers.
Both
from Ohio.
Brian Pillman and Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just leave it at 5.
It's impossible.
Ohio's
the Paul brothers are from Ohio. That's true. We weren't going to get
only
into
Logan
that
wrestles
for now.
And Logan's a dirtbag who eliminated CM Punk.
Wait till his brother gets there.
Uh-huh.
Screw you, Logan and Jake.
Yeah, we hate the Paul brothers here. If you hate the Paul brothers, keep tuning in to Till 5 Wrestling.
Right.
Maybe we should cover the 5 worst acts of Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be here all day.
We might be.
All right, guys. That was 5. Have a good one. GG. That's the show. And that's, of course, short for good grief.